What is up, and welcome back to Talk Nutrition. Today I wanted to continue the Odyssey series where we are going to get into planning ahead for your busy ass week, because I know you're busy. I know you got that job. I know you only have a few hours to take care of yourself. You might have kids, right? Maybe you have a busy job and you study. Maybe it's just studying and you're working on your masters. Whatever it may be, we got you. Because at the end of the day, no one is too busy to be healthy. No one is too busy to reach their goals. I'm going to help you reframe this because, of course, busyness is a factor. Of course, it's going to impact things. But hear me out. I like data. I have a lot of data. I have a lot of data on just about anything I can think of. The vast majority of our clients are parents. Every single one of them is really fucking busy. Every single one of them deals with stress. Most people, including myself, have busy ass lives, and it's just something we got to deal with. You know what I mean? That's why planning is key. You know that quote, right? Or that saying, like, failing to plan is planning to fail. I don't love using those quotes too much because they're so overused sometimes, but it's true. At the end of the day, what I've seen, because again, I pay attention to everything, right? The more data we can get, the better. I see the busiest people perform best in our coaching programs, whether that's our group coaching program, right? The Odyssey, or our one-on-one coaching program. It's, at the end of the day, it's really just about planning. Let me say this too. The third word in our company name, systems, is there for a reason, right? Everything has a meaning. You can create systems and routines around the things that you struggle with. The same thing goes for busyness and, saving yourself time and maybe even money. If we talk about shopping and stuff, we got to create systems so you can be successful despite of that packed schedule, right? I know you sometimes feel like you're too busy to lose fat, but hear me out. Hear me out. The fact that you're listening to this episode means that you're likely alive, right? That means that you're probably eating food to stay alive, right? Big assumptions here. But all joking aside, that means that we can change those few meals that you're currently eating per day. And hey, maybe it's not very structured right now. And that's cool. We're going to work on that, right? We're going to continue to work on that. But I want you to know that you can make a change. You have the power to make a change. But also understand that life is busy. The same thing goes for me. But that's exactly why we got to create those systems and routines to save your future self time, effort, and energy. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm super busy too. And if it wasn't for planning, if it wasn't for even things like pre-tracking your food and, knowing ahead of time what you're going to eat, I would also probably miss out on half of my macros and, overeat or undereat or whatever it may be on the busy days. But I know exactly when it's busy. So I'll plan for those busy days so I can make it work. I have a saying that you'll be able to read also on our website. We have a few, core tenets among our client community, really, among our coaches too. And one of them is shovel the snow. And let me explain, because I was thinking about this, right? As I was shoveling the snow, I live in the Arctic, so there's a lot of snow in the wintertime. We had a very snowy winter last year. And not a single time did I feel like going outside. But I mean, it's work that just needs doing. And I want you to right away just, link this to your nutrition. At the end of the day, you got to eat, right? At the end of the day, you got your health to take care of. At the end of the day, you got this big ass goal that you tell yourself continuously that is, so important. So let's do something about that, right? There's work that needs doing. But going back to me shoveling snow, I was thinking about this because it's hey, I don't feel like it every time I got to go out, I'm fuck, it's never too bad, to be honest with you. But what happens if I don't do it? What happens if I don't go outside? Well, okay, it's going to keep snowing, so it's going to keep piling up. So that means that down the road, if let's say I got to leave for work or I want to go to the gym or shop, whatever it may be, now I can't get out. So there's a consequence to my inaction. There's a consequence to me not doing the work that in this case would be shoveling the snow, right? What we're really doing here is choosing short-term convenience over taking care of our shit long-term, right? So let me expand. So shovel the snow, right? In quotes. We own the situation and we take responsibility to do the work that's required. Obstacles are inevitable and simply need dealing with. Plus, there are consequences to inaction. We don't avoid, but we face our problems and we do the inner work needed for growth. The work just needs doing. We just got to get it done. At the end of the day, you have this big goal. You got your shit to deal with. Let's figure it out. Let's take charge. You're not going to live a successful life being reactive to everything. You got to take control of everything, right? You want to be in charge. You want to be proactive and not reactive. And planning ahead is going to help you there. Because, I mean, if you think about consequences, if you don't manage your stress, it's going to take its toll on both your body and mind. If If you don't sleep enough, I mean, pretty much everything suffers. If you don't weigh and track your food, you're not going to get optimal results. If you don't lift weights consistently, like you're not going to look defined or toned or whatever it is, right? If you don't meal prep, and of course you don't always have to meal prep, but you're going to spend more time cooking, objectively speaking. And if you don't plan, you'll go through life reactively and overwhelmed. And let me say this too. You know how sometimes like there's days in a week where you feel like, yo, I got so much to do and too few hours in a day. Oftentimes like, it may even be the same day of the week. Is it really a surprise then? Or is it something that's actually just a recurring thing, which means that we can plan ahead, right? We can set up certain things to make it through those days. Because that's how I think about this. There are consequences if we don't plan. Again, we're not going to be able to plan everything. We'll talk more in the future about like what to do when you can't plan for your own meals and cook your own meals or meal prep, whatever. But there's a lot of stuff we can plan for. You know what I mean? And I feel like other people will use busyness and stress as a reason not to take action for their own health and goals. But we just use busyness and stress as reasons to create systems and routines, that allow you to save time and energy. So before we continue, you might even want to pause this podcast for a second after the 3 questions I'm about to ask, or that I want you to ask, I should say. Ask yourself a few questions, because this is almost like a mini exercise that you can do right now. And I do really like to do this on a weekly basis. So on Sunday, right, in a couple of days, like sit down, pen to paper, just write shit down, right? Let's plan ahead, look ahead. To be honest with you, like I know when my Mondays and Tuesdays, that's when I do check-ins with my clients, right? I know when it's check-in day, like I know I got to have my stuff planned. I know I need to pre-track my meals. I need to make sure that before that I go shopping. So that's usually Saturday for me, right? I go do a shopping run. I make sure I have everything that I need so that when that busy week starts, I can just execute. That's the goal. I don't want you to spend too much time trying to figure shit out in the moment. You're already so busy. So let's do a little bit of pre-work to save yourself a lot of work down the road. So ask yourself, what do I currently feel costs me a lot of time? What takes a lot of effort that I'd like to make easier? And what steals a lot of my mental energy? Ask yourself these questions. What's costing you a lot of time? What takes a lot of effort? And what steals a lot of your mental energy? We need to create awareness first so that we can then plan and come up with a solution. And this really plays into like the weekly check-ins that I do with my clients too. So basically what we do, there's a few questions that I ask them on a weekly basis. And we always start with a bit of reflection and then we get into planning, right? So first of all, hey, what's my effort like? Rate it from like a 1 to 5, 1 being worst, 5 being best. And again, you can do this on a like weekly basis. Every Sunday, sit down and do this for yourself. So remember these questions, maybe write it down, put it in your phones, in your notes, Write this down. So what's my effort currently like? 1 through 5, 1 worst, 5 best. And this is your effort, right? It's not like, hey, how amazing or shitty was the week? No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you for effort, because if you have a great week and effort is low, hey, we're still not doing the things required for our goals. If we have a crappy week, but we're still showing up and doing the work, like, okay, that's actually high effort. Makes sense? So it's not a rating of the week, but of your effort. And then I also want you to celebrate your wins. We always do that with our clients too. What is currently going well? Like, what are you proud of? It could be anything positive. It could be a tiny little change. Give yourself that credit, right? Positive momentum. And then we get into the upcoming week. So what are like 1 to 3 things that you need to get done or be better at, let's say, to make this upcoming week like 1% better, 1% more successful, whatever you want to call it. And then the next question is, how will you make that happen? So let's say, okay, so I got to dial in my protein intake, my steps, and my hydration. Okay, cool. How will we do that? Okay, protein. I'm going to sit down on Monday or Sunday or whatever day. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write down 5 go-to protein options. And then per food, I'm going to write down how much I need to hit 30 to 40 grams of protein. For my hydration target, I'm going to make sure that I take my water bottle with me and I'll have it with me at all times. I'm going to keep it on my desk so that I have a visual reminder to drink water. And I'm going to sip throughout the day when I'm thirsty. And lastly, steps. I'm going to plan 1 longer walk for this week. I'd like to do a hike in the weekend. And after every meal or after lunchtime, whatever it is, I'm going to go on a quick 10-minute walk. You see how we're taking what we want to improve and then we make it actionable? Super important. And then, of course, and this question we could take in a few directions. And with my clients, it's like, hey, what's something we can help you with, right? What can I do for you as your coach? But if you're doing this on your own, think about it too. Like, hey, what information do I need currently to grow or learn or get better? Who can I ask for help? What skills do I need to be better at? What resources can I download? Let me see real quick. I feel like those are big ones already. Yeah, going back to routines and systems, let's continue with that, right? What routines and systems can I put in place or that I should learn more about to help myself, save time and effort? Because I want you to think like what to plan for, right? And you do that by asking yourself a few questions. I feel like a lot of times if we don't practice the self-reflection part of what we do here and preach basically at OCS, like if we skip those self-reflection questions and we don't actually sit down with ourselves, just a quick moment, just to have a little check-in with ourselves or with your coach, but like if we don't do that, there's so much that we'll miss. And I know this takes a bit of time, but if you think about it, it's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes, it's going to be worth it. So let's expand on those questions that I just mentioned. And let's think about, the following things. I'm just going to list a couple of questions for you that I've written down here. And you may answer some of them. You may just skip a few, like it's totally up to you. But I want you to really think about the answers. First question, based on what you've been working on, your current goals and tasks, what is currently a point of friction? What's difficult? If you're not getting everything done, why not? What systems can we put in place to fix that? When you think about how to get 1% better, make it specific, right? Trackable, and plan a day and time. You can say, I'm going to drink more water. No, that's not specific enough. Get specific, right? I'm going to make sure I have my water bottle on my desk. Boom, right? I fill it up at 12. You can get super specific with that stuff. Same goes for protein and all that. Like, make it super actionable so that at the end of the week, you can say, hey, did I do it? Yes or no? Next question. What do you not fully understand yet? Like, what doesn't click? AKA, who will you ask for help for education, right? And of course, remembering no week is perfect. So every week, there's going to be at least one thing that you can learn about or ask someone about, and right, look for, if you need help, like look for help. Make sense? There's no shame in asking for, a bit of support here and there. And you can even do that on Instagram. Like hit me up, like either way, like I'm not here to sell you coaching. You know what I mean? If you want to join, it's great. If not, I'll happily answer your questions. Now, can I go to some, like a certain community, whether it's our online community or maybe somewhere else, maybe at the gym, and find some answers there? Can I check in with people who've already achieved the goals that I'm trying to currently chase? That's going to be a good one too. And then, are there any social settings coming up? That's my next question, right? Do you have any changes in your schedule coming up? Any days that are particularly busy? Usually that's not a fucking surprise, you know what I mean? I'm being very real here with you. When you have that Wednesday that's completely packed and you have your business trips and you're flying and then you got to go from meeting to meeting and blah, 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 you already know that it's coming up. And of course, with travel, I will say, like, it's going to be a little bit of a different, scenario. But like either way, if we know what's coming up, we can plan for it. Makes sense? Like I said, like my Mondays and Tuesdays, they're crazy schedule-wise. So I plan for it. I still manage to get everything done, have my meals, my macros are dialed. I still hit my steps. I still get a workout in. You see, if I don't plan, like I'm not going to be able to get everything done. I'm just as busy as you. Social settings too. It's not a surprise that you have that birthday on Friday. It's not a surprise that the wedding is on Saturday. You already knew that was coming for, months ago, right? So plan. Of course, you're not going to go to a wedding with your little meal prep thing, but that's a different story. We'll talk about, social settings soon. But okay, speaking of those busy days, which specific days are packed and stressful? And on which days has it been hard to manage your nutrition? Create the awareness, and now we can think of a solution. But let me tell you this too, because we've been talking about, planning so much already. Most of it's already done for you. You're listening to this, you probably have a job or you go to school or both, but either way, whether it's work or school, there's a schedule already for you that you do not even have to think about. It's there. You know when to show up, when your breaks are, when you're done. So that's a majority of your day already that you don't have to plan for. Now the rest is up to you in the hours before and after, and maybe even like during, like what you will eat during your breaks, This is also the reason why I think most people struggle during their weekends, because from Monday through Friday, you have a schedule. It's already taken care of for you. And then now you got to do it for yourself. Saturday, Sunday, there's no schedule. You're free. And that's amazing. But because now we don't have a structure to follow, all of a sudden we go from, hey, we were consistently hitting 4 or 5 meals to, okay, what the hell do I do? Because apparently on Saturday, Sunday, we completely have to just throw a whole plan out the door, Doesn't have to be the case. I'm also not saying you have to eat these same exact meals every single day, but we can keep a solid structure still, you know what I mean? The fact that it's Saturday, Sunday, like doesn't mean, you all of a sudden have to have no breakfast, or maybe, 2 extra meals, or maybe like 2 fewer meals, whatever it is. Stick to a certain structure. Like, it's going to make things so much easier. Your body will respond better. It will, right? Again, you don't have to plan for everything, but let's think about that. Your workouts. When will you go to the gym? Like, when will you plan? Set the appointment with yourself, and of course, show up to the appointment. When will you go shopping? Hey, surprise. Every week you're going to need food. So let's plan a day and time you can go shopping. Let's plan, if you want to do a meal prep, right? Let's plan a day and time for your meal prep. There's so many things we can already decide. Now, I live in like Google Calendar, to be honest with you. Like everything is in there. And I don't think everyone needs to do that all the time. It's a great tool though. You can use it if you want to. You can use a paper planner, like whatever you want to do. But think about the things you can do to save yourself some time and effort down the road. I'm going to try and come up and this is not in my notes, I'm going to try and come up with a few examples. I'm going to use my own current week as an example. Now, Monday, Tuesday, crazy as usual. So I know I had to pre-track my meals. On Sunday, which I did, because I also check in with myself, right? So I did a macro update. As you know, I'm currently lean gaining, so I increased my calories. I had to make a few tweaks. Okay, I pre-logged a full day of eating with the foods that I have, I knew, okay, so ground beef, I'm going to take out a pack of 400 grams, right, out of the freezer, put it in the fridge, so that the next day when I have lunch, I'll cook, right? I cook it right there and then, because I didn't do meal prep, but that will then also allow me to just cook 2 batches in one go, so that the second day on Tuesday, I didn't have to cook my lunch, you know what I mean? And I'll do that. Like, that's one of the systems I have in place. One day, I'll cook like 400 grams of ground beef. The second day, it's already ready. And then the next day again, I'll cook. Next day, I don't have to cook. That's one of the things I do. The carbs that I use for that are these wraps. They're already good to go, right? Take them out of the package. Nothing I'm going to do. I eat a bell pepper with that. I throw on some sriracha mayo. Boom, there you go. Super easy meal, right? But those things are in place. My breakfast, oats with berries, scoop of protein powder, peanut butter. Boom, there you go. I repeat that every single day because I love it, first of all, right? And I do change it up. I'll make some tweaks here and there. But I just like that breakfast. It works for me. Okay, cool. Third meal, right? I've been doing a lot of eggs, etc. There's so many easy, basic meals you can come up with. And guess what? Like dinner, I've been changing it up. I've been winging it. But I tried to plan most of my meals ahead of time. For my workouts, like I knew that, tomorrow morning, Friday, I'm going to fly to Oslo. And it's going to be a busy day. But that also means that today, because I'm going to be gone for like 10 days, I'm going to go to Oslo and then I'm going to go to the Netherlands to see my family and friends. So I know that, hey, I'm not going to be in my usual setting. I need to batch record a few podcasts, right? Okay, so that means that on Thursday, I'm going to have a longer work day. I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm going to make sure that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I do work out, right? I'm also going to have to shop tomorrow when I'm in Oslo so I can get my proteins, right? So I'm staying there. I'm going to be able to, make some of my own meals, but also go out for food. I'm going to keep it flexible, right? So I'm not going to plan for every single meal, but at least breakfast and lunch, right? And a lot of times, when I'm on a trip, like I might not even track. Right now, I just like to control things because I'm lean gaining. I'm just making sure that I get enough calories in. Because last time, and this was a couple months ago now already, 2 months ago, I went away for a week. I didn't track at all. I actually ate a lot, but I lost weight. And it's not a big deal, like it was like a kilo difference. But I'm currently in a lean gaining phase. I'm trying to be in a calorie surplus. I'm still training, trying to build muscle, right? Even goes for like sleep. Hey, my sleep has been rough, to be honest with you. Like I've been having a really hard time falling asleep. So that means that I had to, right, address, okay, what have I been doing right up until the moment I'm supposed to fall asleep? Okay, hey, self-reflection, right? I notice I haven't been reading as much as I used to. Okay, hey, I didn't, take my evening supplements consistently. Okay, cool. So again, systems, routines, right? Systems in this case, I set a recurring alarm at 9 p.m. to take my evening supplements because I want to be asleep by 10, right? Take some melatonin. Actually, so far it hasn't helped, to be honest with you. So I think it's stress related, but like it's a different story. But either way, I'm working on it, right? Hey, okay, boom. Last week, I noticed my steps were a little bit lower again. Okay, cool. So that means that, again, I need to be really specific with my schedule, do a quick morning walk, or maybe sometimes when I work in the city, right, I'll schedule, hey, I'm going to work at a cafe. I'm going to walk. It's about 20 minutes. I'm going to work there for a few hours, walk back. So I get a shitload of steps in In the meantime, I'll listen to either one of the videos of the course that I'm doing currently, or maybe a podcast, stacking that, right? Steps with education. Okay, then I'm going back to where I'm currently living. I wouldn't call it home, but I go back home, continue my workday there so that I get movements in. I have a little bit of a break, right? So 20-minute break, walk, boom, work at a cafe, get a shitload done, walk back, you see? And I mean, we can continue, but like, think about the things that cost you a lot of time right now. What's the main thing? Are you spending hours in the kitchen because every single time you eat a meal, you're trying to come up with your macro stuff like on the fly? Like in the moment, you're like scratching your head with the fridge door open and you're like, okay, shit. Okay, so we've got to get protein, carbs and fats, and then also my micronutrients. And then how do I make this fit now? And like, if you're trying to do it in the moment, you're already too late. It doesn't mean you can't do that. I'll do it sometimes too. But if you can do it beforehand, you'll save yourself time and effort. And to be honest with you, like, who doesn't want things to be easier? The solution here is to plan ahead. The solution here is to create awareness around the things that cost you a lot of time and effort and energy and mental energy even. And then just really thinking, okay, self-assess your current life and try to think of a routine or a system that you can put in place, something to make it easier. Make sense? Now, this, of course, is all stuff that we teach you in depth, in detail in the Odyssey, and I'm going to help you with this. So if you're interested, you can, of course, join. I'll make sure to drop the link in the show notes. That being said, as of today, so this podcast is going up on November 14th, and it will, we're taking down the waitlist at 10 p.m., so you might be able to still catch it. If not, no worries at all. You can still join the Odyssey. We are starting on January 6th, but of course, if you're not on the waitlist, you don't get this special offer. But either way, we're still open. We're kicking off our very first cohort. I'm super excited. Like, we've put a lot of work into the Odyssey, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from our clients because that's how I've really fine-tuned it. And people are like, yo, like, this is literally like what I had to address in order of like when it almost like came up, you know what I mean? So I am confident in saying that this is going to help you reach your goals. If you want to learn more, go to the show notes. I will talk to you very soon in the next episode. Have a great evening.